As the colors change to fall, the shows just keep getting brighter on Global Voice Broadcasting. Shows about everything that matters to you, from love, living, and life. If you're talking about it, we're talking about it this fall on Global Voice Broadcasting. Don't miss a second.
I highly recommend Ms. Hicks. Her books, her CDs are encouraging.
I bought her book, A Hill to Climb. She's a very inspirational speaker.
And I look forward to one day being able to work with her.
Your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, determination. These are the keys of life success, brought to you by none other than award-winning author, motivational lecturer, business consultant, and much more, as she gets you aimed to your purpose. And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kenan Wesley Mason.
Hello, world, and welcome to our show today, Aim to Purpose, the radio show with your host, Louise Hicks, and my co-host, Kenan Wesley Mason, who is also my biological son. And we hope you had a great weekend. We did, and we have a very special guest with us today. And we know that we are wrapping up this month in America with Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness, being the month of October, and with this being the last week of October, and we have our guest who will also be shedding some light on wellness and health, none other than Mark Llewhellin, who is going to share with us today about the journey of hope. The Great American Journey of Hope. The Great American Journey of Hope. So we're going to go ahead and allow Ken to introduce our special guest, and we're going to get right into the show today.
Yes, let's get right into it. Our guest, Mark Llewhellin, was born on the 25th of January, 1974, in Haverfordwest, Pembrokeshire, Wales. Try saying that 5 times. Mark joined the British Army at the age of 16 and served with Junior Leaders Regiment Royal Artillery. After serving 7 years in the Army, mainly with 7 Commando Battery, 29 Regiment Royal Artillery, Mark moved to London and worked as a bodyguard in London's exclusive Park Lane. In 1999, Mark became a personal fitness trainer and decided to take on some new challenges after being inspired by Canadian Terry Fox's run across Canada. With the likelihood of the Welsh Medical Board closing down his local hospital, Mark did a 70-mile run and walk on the 25th of January 2014. Which was his 40th birthday, to stand against the closure of the vital services. Shortly after, Mark decided it was time to the USA Run of Hope. And with that being said, we'd like to introduce to you our special guest today, all the way from Wales, as this is a global broadcast. We want to introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Mark Llewhellin. Mark, are you there?
Hello, Mark. How are you? How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
Great. And thank you for coming on our show to enlighten our guest today, our global guest. And you are in Wales, over in the UK. And here we are at Global Voice Broadcasting Network here in the studio here at Global Voice Broadcasting Network in Hollywood, California, United States of America. And our topic today happens to be the Great American Journey of Hope. And that's awesome what we're going to talk about. So let's get right into the program, and we want you to share with us a little bit about, you said you were born, and when I think about it, you and my son have something in common here. You have a birth year in common, 1974. You both are 40, and we're so happy to celebrate that year because that was my birth year also. I gave birth to Kenan that year.
It was a great year.
It was a great year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you were born just before the Christian Bale. What is that?
Christian Bale, he's an actor. He's Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman, and you become famous for.
Okay,
and,
see, that's the difference between the young'uns and the old school, because I'm thinking it's some kind of day you're celebrating.
The Christian Bale.
The Christian Bale. Okay, I know, and we're going to get a little bit into that when we talk about your superhero day. So that's what that's all about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, Christian Bale is Batman.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. I'm way off base on that one then. But anyhow, we know that you have this great American journey of hope, and we're going to talk about that journey in a little bit. But let's talk about, you went into the military, you said at the age of 16. You were so young then. What inspired you to join the military at 16?
Well, what inspired me, Louise, is I basically came out of school and I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't do particularly well in school, and my friends were joining the army, and I thought I'll join the army as well. And it was as simple as that. It wasn't a case of, I wanted to join the army for years. For me, it was coming from a background of, I really didn't have much self-esteem. I didn't know what I would do as a civilian. I thought to myself, maybe I should try and be a mechanic, but I probably won't be good enough at that. And so someone said, why don't you join the army?
Right.
I joined the army.
And you were 16. Now you were you successful when you joined the army? How did that work out for you? And you were only 16.
Well, at the start, it was pretty tough because I was into this whole new world, and I went on to do my basic fitness test, which over here in the UK is a 1.5 mile timed run. And you have to do it in 10.5 minutes, but I failed the run. And I came in at 10 minutes, 53 seconds. And so I wasn't very fit at all. The sergeant came into the room a few weeks later, and he was playing a little game. He said, who's the most boring person in the troop? And everyone looked at a guy and laughed. And then he said, who's the ugliest in the troop? They looked at a guy and they laughed. And then they said, who's the fattest person in the room? And I looked at this guy from Liverpool, who we nicknamed as Scouse, and I thought, oh, it's going to be Scouse. But every single person in the room just turned their head and looked at me.
And looked at you, huh?
Yeah. And it was a sort of a turning point for me, really. It was one of those things, and I think a lot of your listeners would relate to this, is you get to a stage where you think, do you know what? I know you're looking down at me right now, but I'll show you. Do you know?
Right.
It wasn't I didn't verbally say it, but I was quite humiliated at the time, and I think from that sort of humiliation, it put a drive into me to want to be successful. Yeah. And basically, I carried on with the military in Junior Leaders Royal Artillery, and I passed my basic fitness test, and the Sergeant Major said, what regiment do you want to go to? And I said, I'd like to go to 29 Commando Regiment, which is an elite regiment. And he gave me a little look as if to say, that is absolutely impossible for you. You'll never get that green beret. You'll never be a commando. And nobody really thought I could do it. So I just thought I might as well have a go at it. You know, they hold the world record for the speed march, or at least they did then, which is 40 pounds on your back and running and fast marching for 26 miles. And I failed the first time through lack of fitness. I failed the second time through injury. And the third time, I scraped through. And but I'll never forget that a guy at the start, and he was fitter than me at the time, he said, I believe that if you don't pass this first time, then you shouldn't be here. And he said, I'm giving it one go, and then that's it, me done. And I looked at him and I said, I don't care how many times I'm coming back, I will pass this. And sadly, he was a great guy, but sadly he never made it through, and I did. And it's about having that attitude, never give in, just keep on going.
And that self-confidence, and that's what you acquired, because you had said everybody looked at you and said you were the fattest one in the room. And how fat were you? How much did you weigh, Mark?
Yeah, give us the numbers.
Do you know, I'm trying to calculate it with numbers now. Well, I was 13.5 stone. I'm trying to work it out in pounds. I think I was about 180 pounds.
Oh, okay. And you were 16 at the time, and you were 180 pounds. So everybody's eyes went on Mark and saying, oh, gosh. And Mark knew. You said you weren't very focused at the time, and you knew after they told you they couldn't do it. And that's what it's all about, building that momentum and that self-confidence to know when somebody tells you you can't do something. That reminds me of when I was growing up as a kid in Louisiana, and we were told to take the word can't out of your vocabulary, because if you want to do something and you have the confidence, you can do it, but you have to believe it and just do the work. And that's what you did, and you got yourself fit, and you ended up in the Green Beret. Now, what is the Green Beret? Is that the top-notch Army that you can get into?
I just want to be perfectly honest. If I was to say the very top-notch, I would have to say the Special Air Service, the SAS. But it is right up there. It is an elite unit, which is very difficult to get in.
It's similar to it would be similar to the Navy SEALs here in America, I would presume.
I suppose it's a similar thing to the Navy SEALs. We're amphibious trained. A lot of the guys are parachutists, and it's a tough course,
right?
You know? But I sort of I got a lot of respect for the Navy SEAls guys, and just all of these guys that go through these courses that put themselves through this. Yeah, it's fantastic. So,
yes.
And I was doing a talk recently. For new people coming in to the Army, and I just said, you know, just getting into the normal regiment is a fantastic achievement. There were these young guys there, and they were looking up to me as this sort of Rambo type character, but it's not really like that. It's you're not a super soldier, you know. People aren't like that, and what normally separates the elite from the non-elite is it's just that stubbornness, it's the determination, and like you say, Louise, when people look down at you and you just dig in then, and you think, I'm just gonna keep on going.
Oh yeah, they make you want to go. When someone tells you, especially when you know you've built up that morale and you know what you want to do in life, and somebody, like you said, your background caused you to go into the Army because you didn't know exactly what you wanted to do at first, and somebody said, well, join the Army, and that's what you did. And when you joined, you decided you had a goal. Then your goal was to make this the commando, the course, and you made it. How long did it take you to get fit? Was it a year or months or what?
Yeah, it was certainly over a year. It was I think it was about a year and a half roughly.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm just trying to calculate how much I was overweight. I wasn't hugely overweight. I was overweight by about 32 pounds.
Oh, no, that's
but
not hugely overweight. No.
No, but I lost that within 10 weeks, and I went from not passing my basic course to I was the fittest. I was the fastest in the troop at the end, and I thought I was quite fit. And then I went down to Plymouth, and then I went to. It was like going to a different level. I was one of the top at the certain league, if you like, and they have it in soccer. You have like a Division 2, and if you get to the top of Division 2, then you go into Division 1. But all of a sudden, you're back at the bottom again. So, and that's what happened with me in the Commandos. I was back at the bottom, and I've never stopped climbing the ladder because the ladder just goes on forever.
And that's great, because they said you couldn't make it, and you knew, hey, you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to show you I can do it. It's better to show you, huh? And that makes a lot of sense. And you spent 7 years in the Army. And when you got out of the Army, you went to London. Is that what happened? Now, you were in Wales in the Army. Is that correct?
I was in Arbroath in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was based there because I left Wales when I was 16.
I see.
I initially went to several different places. There was a place called Nuneaton in England, and then I went to Plymouth. And then when I passed the course, then I got posted up into Arbroath in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. And after those 7 years, you went to, when did you go to London? You went there and you started your training. Is that when you really became aware that that was your goal and your determination to become this fitness person? Was that when you decided that after you had gotten out of the Army?
I think so, yeah, because I got out of the Army and I look back and I hadn't, although you get more training as a commando or as any soldier, I look back at it and I thought to myself, I haven't really done something huge in 7 years, which was obviously passing the commando course. And I thought, what else can I do? And I ended up flying over to the States, and there was a guy who I was supporting who was running in Death Valley. And he was a great guy doing a charity run. And I first seen him in the national papers. I phoned him up and he asked me to come out and support him. But it was a very interesting experience because when I looked at him in the national papers, it's like you elevate people, you know, they become, because they're in the big media, they're like a super person. But then when I spent time with him, I thought, you know, I think I could do what you are doing. You know, he became real.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when you look at someone that you admire or aspire to be like that person, it makes you want to do better. So it creates that opportunity to be greater and expand. I mean, in athletics, like the Olympics, there's always a record that someone wants to break and call it their own. So that makes you work that much harder to attain that goal, to create your own personal records and then take it to the highest levels where you can create. Here you have your American record for certain track and field events, or take it to the next level, the world record. So you're always challenging yourself to do better.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely
what you were doing. But you were still fairly young when you did that. You came to the States. Was that in 1999 when you came here to this run that you were doing?
Yes, it was 99, and then the guy gave me some great advice. Actually, he talked about how to sort of stand out from the crowd a little bit, and he said to me, there's no point in doing something. There's a northern point of Britain called John O'Groats, and the very bottom of the UK is a place called Land's End. And a lot of people do runs or cycles from Land's End to John O'Groats. But he said, if you want to make a bigger impact and get more media, then you have to create something unique, like he did in Death Valley. He went out on his own, just with me, and then it was his imagination, you know, and Einstein talks a bit about that, about how important your imagination is, you know. And so I designed a run from Denver to San Francisco, and all of a sudden I was in the national papers, and I found it quite hard to get my head around initially because I had a really big piece in the national media, and it was funny because Catherine Zeta-Jones was on the same page as me, so married to Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Right, Michael Douglas.
I was thinking, is this real? I'm on the same page as the movies.
Right. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel good.
And it builds your momentum and that confidence. Like you said, many of us need mentors. And when you came over here, you were in your mid-20s or so, and to the Death Valley run, and did you look at this person as more of a mentor? Because that's how we do move ourselves forward. And you were saying about the elevation, and I'm a firm believer when you elevate someone else, you also elevate yourself, and that appears to be exactly what you did, Mark, because you came over here and you had a mentor who gave you this advice, you said, and some wisdom. And now look what you're doing, because you've taken that advice and you've moved forward. Here you are 40 now, and look back at what happened in year 2000. You did something in 2000 also. That was in Denver and San Francisco. And what did you do? You ran, or you did something then? What was it that you did?
Yeah, well, I just, I absolutely love the United States, and I really fell in love with it when I went to California to support Ray Mounsey, his name was, and I thought, I've got to come back to the States. I just love the people. I love the place. It's such a fantastic place, fantastic country. And so I designed a route which was, it was basically from Denver. I thought I'd make it interesting to see some other interesting things in your great country. And I seen Jim Carrey's Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, I've got to run through Aspen. That looks such a cool place.
Aspen, yes.
Yeah.
So that's where you ran through in Denver. You were in Aspen running?
Yeah, I basically ran from... The route was Denver to Aspen, down to Monument Valley, Grand Canyon, and then I basically made my way over to San Diego, and then I ran up the coast. And my girlfriend at the time, she flew in and she had a bike, so I was totally self-supported initially, and I just gave her my backpack straight away. I was like, you can carry this back now.
And we're talking about Denver, Colorado. And I said Denver, I meant to say Colorado, because Aspen and Denver are both in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then you went on to San Diego, that's California. And because we're global, we want to identify some of these locations, because we are global, coming to you from the Global Voice Broadcasting Network here in Hollywood, California, in the United States. And we have Mark Llewhellin on the phone with us and Skyping in today from Wales. And we are so excited about you sharing with us this great American journey of hope that we're going to be talking about as we move further into the show today. But before then, you talked about something. You were saying that this person really gave you courage. And I know this platform that we have here, that's what we're all about: educating people, empowering people, and bridging the gap with other cultures. And this is such a great platform because it gives us that opportunity to speak with guests globally and share how we all are truly connected. And what a great thing technology has done for us. And we are grateful, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to be here speaking with you about all the great things that you're doing and what Aim to Purpose is all about. And you touched on that when you said you had so much determination, and that's what Aim to Purpose is about, is aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, and determination. and those elements of vision, hope, faith, knowledge, and action. And I tell you, Mark, you are putting so much action. You're making action what it really is supposed to be, because you're running, you're walking, and you're journeying across the world. You're doing something global here, which is so exciting.
And you're doing it at an age where here in America, I don't know what the statistics are over in the UK, but here in America, at the age of 40, we see more and more people declining in their physical stature at much earlier ages, when the human body is designed to walk as long as you're alive. More and more often we see people at earlier and earlier ages declining in their physical health. What's been the thing that, because you're a personal fitness trainer, so from one personal fitness trainer to another, what keeps you going at your age of 40, which I consider to be a young age, as opposed to many times people consider 40 getting into those midlife crisis years?
Yeah, I mean, I think what it is it's like a social conditioning where many people think, you're right, they can, that, oh, when I'm past 18, I'm finished, or when I'm past 22 or 25, they kind of write themselves off psychologically. Right. But I read a bit about some of the greatest ultra distance runner arguably is a guy called Yanis Kouros, a guy who originated in Greece and now he's in Australia. But when he was breaking the world records, he was about 43. Okay. And yeah, and it was incredible, because it was a big eye opener to me. I thought, as you get told by the mainstream media, well, 25, this is your prime, but for the extra ultra endurance, there are some phenomenal people out there that are 40s and 50s. So when I hit 40, I was quite excited, because I thought, I can be better at this. I might not have the speed, when I was at 25. Right. But endurance-wise, I should be able to go on longer. And it's just about what you feed your mind as well. So you don't write yourself off just because other people are writing your age off. That doesn't mean anything. Exactly. You look at, I mean, one of my biggest inspirations, and he was the one that got me to the stage where I thought, I'm going to do this. And it was, I heard an interview with Anthony Hopkins years ago, and they were asking him about how to be successful. And of course, we all know Anthony Hopkins from Hannibal Lecter and Thor and many other things. And I thought, there's this guy, 70, I think he's 73 now, and he's powering on. There's this youth and this energy. Yep. And they asked him about what are one of the keys to success. And he said, risk death, risk destruction, risk being a fool, risk criticism, and just go for it. Right. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. In fact, saying that was, I read a lot of self-development stuff, but very few people will say risk everything. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. I have this thing where I say, I do several, but I believe in let's go, let's grow, because here you and Ken are you the same age, 40 years old, and there are people who think they're washed up. Here I am, I'm 63. And there's nothing in my mindset at all that tells me I'm washed up at the age I am now. I'm just getting started, and this is my second career doing what I'm doing now. And we don't know where life is going to lead us, because we need to live in the now and be in the now. And that's what it appears you are doing. You and Kenan and the people with your mindset, the young people, I call you guys the young'uns, you are in that mindset, in that mold where you don't think of yourself as old and washed up and not being able to do anything. And I had a guest on the show that was 73, and Les Smiths, and he's still going strong, doing life coaching and all kinds of things. And we got to get out of that mindset that we aren't able to let's go and let's grow and get aimed to our purpose. And so many of us that are my age, 60, in their 60s, I'm 63, and that doesn't even enter my mind on a day-to-day basis. I'm figuring out, what do I do next to get to the next level in my life, and what do I want to do, and what do I want to achieve in my life, because it's all about the goals that you're setting for yourself. And in 2013, you did something interesting also. You did some treadmill. You won a treadmill first. That was in 2001. Let's talk about what led you to do this treadmill. Was that another milestone that you made? You made a decision to do, and you were still fairly young then. Even though you're 40, you guys are young. But what was that in 2001 you did?
Well, I basically did a run in, I think it was 1999 in the Sahara Desert, called the Marathon des Sables, and I think it was about 143 mile over 6 days. You get given 7 days to complete it, but on one of the legs, you can either do a marathon one day and then do another marathon the next day. But if you're fit enough, they'll just say, oh, we'll just do the 50 miles or the 52 or whatever it is straight off in one day. And I run against this guy, Rory Coleman, and a fantastic guy, lovely man, down to earth, but he held about 7 world records on the treadmill. And I was fortunate enough to sort of come in an hour or so before him on the 50 miler. And I thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to have a go at that record. Now, if I want to be totally honest, is there are people out there that can outperform me. And if Yanis Kouros, for example, would have done that on the treadmill, then it would be very difficult to beat his time. But I saw the opportunity. I knew it was quite a young sort of a young world record, but I thought, you know what? Let's just see if I can do 100K. And so I thought, I'll have a go at that. Got on and had the news and stuff come down and cover me. And it was fantastic. I came in quite comfortably, and it was 10 hours, 34 minutes. But I honestly thought I could have done another marathon on top of this. So it was 100K is about 62 miles. And I thought I could have just kept on going to 80 or 90 or.
Wow.
I felt good. Yeah.
Because your average marathon here in the States is 26 miles.
Yeah.
So you ran. You said you ran 60 or over 60.
Yeah, about 62. I think 100K is 61,
wow.
62, and it's such a funny thing, because I can remember when I used to be younger, and at the time of when I couldn't run a mile and a half without being really out of breath. I used to look at people on the marathon, the London Marathon, of course, over there, you got the New York, the Chicago, and so forth. And I used to look at them and I used to think, oh, well, that's impossible. How can you run 26 miles?
Right.
I mean, I run a mile and I'm shattered.
Right.
And that's when you start to sort of get to understand that it's about the goal setting, and it's journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I have to say America is absolutely amazing with, is the self-development industry over there. A lot of the stuff that I've learned and where I've helped with my belief, you have your people like Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Zig just passed away about a year ago. And he's been one of Brian Tracy as well. They've all been one of the front runners from the 70s era and the early 80s. So they're definitely what we would call pioneers of that self-development era.
And goal setting and the amazing quotes. I'm always reading these quotes from Zig Ziglar on Facebook, and they are amazing because he gives you energy, and we know that positive energy helps us to grow and become the person that we were born to be. And talking to you, Mark, it's amazing because you goal setting can be in any field. No matter what field you are, you need to set goals. And here you are, a personal trainer, and you're doing all these amazing things the across America and where you are. Are you you're currently in Wales now, right? And you're doing all these amazing things and setting goals, and no matter what field of life you're in, goal setting is important because that's how we get the desires of our heart.
It's so true. You know, you've got to set those goals, and I know Zig, he had a whole tape series just called Goals, and he was big into his running, and in fact I think he was in his mid-60s when he did a treadmill test, and he did a lot of guys in the NFL that were in their 20s that when he did this treadmill test. And it was I sent a letter over to Zig, and we started corresponding, and even for me that's a bit of success. And I was fortunate to meet Brian Tracy in California and have a chat with him, a great guy again. But you know, I mean, from where I've come from, you're sort of thinking, why would these guys even speak to me? They're right up on that pedestal. And what you'll find, you know Tom Jones, he's a Welsh singer.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Had his own TV show for a while back there. You know, being 63, I remembered. I used to watch Tom Jones all the time.
Fantastic. And I was watching an interview on him, and he was so down to earth, and they were asking him about arrogant people who were successful, and he said something that was brilliant. He said, what you'll find is the ones that are really normally right at the sort of top of the field. He said, you find that they're very down to earth. He said, it's the ones that are trying to make it sometimes are like, look at me. But he said the ones that are really sort of successful have this humility, and that's what I loved about that's why Anthony Hopkins is also an inspiration, because of his humility, because he's so down to earth. I did security work on the Harry Potter movie, The Deathly Hallows. Oh, okay. And I was working with one of the security guys there, and he said he used to do some security with Anthony Hopkins on his house when they put him up in London for a movie. And I said, what was he like? And he said, I couldn't believe it. He said, he brought us out tea and coffee. Oh, and I just thought that's amazing to have
humility
that
and humbleness, and that's what we need. Yeah. More
and
of
respectful.
that.
Yeah.
Very respectful. That was
It just goes to show that many of your thought leaders of yesterday and today, many of them, if not all of them, started at the bottom and worked their way up to their success. They didn't start out with the silver spoon, or they weren't born into wealth. They had to start from someplace, find what their passions are, what they love to do, and do it enough to where it becomes that habitual thing that they love to do, and take it to a level that no one can do it better than they can.
Yeah.
And Mark, in 2013, you did something amazing. You were training for this 2-mile jog, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna share with our listeners this great American journey of hope that you took, because we have a little map that we want you to walk us through and tell us about it. But before we take the break, tell us about this September, October 2013. You did something amazing then as well.
October 30th.
You did a jog. It was a training you did with. It was down into 2-mile jog. You did 3 to 4 times a week, And on Christmas Eve of 2013, you wanted to see what you could do without the training, and you were able to walk. You did running and walking for 9 hours. Was that 9 straight hours, or how? What?
Yeah, pretty much. It was it's a long story.
Well, you can condense it. Just give us the short version.
Yeah, just a quick one. Yeah, in October, I had hardly done any running. I was doing the odd 1 mile or 2 mile twice a week or something. And the story, I'll have to shorten it. But what actually happened was I got locked up for something that I didn't say. and I ended up having to break out of a facility. And you know, I was on. I don't know whether you have to edit this or what, but
go ahead.
Yeah, it was incredible because the police were told that I had said something that I'm a very peaceful and happy person.
Yes.
And I didn't say it. And what happened was they locked me up and they shipped me away into a facility.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't know where nobody knew where I'd gone. And basically it was a quite a dangerous place to be in. So I broke out of the facility and I was in Llanelli, and then I went to Swansea in Wales, and I was living on the mountains like for a few days into the hills to get off the grid. I came back and I thought to myself, I handed myself in after I got to the right people that I needed to see. And I basically thought, God, I feel strong mentally. So I thought I think it was Christmas Eve in 2013.
Yes.
So what can I do without any training at all? And on the back of that adversity, I was later cleared for everything. You know, it was crazy. But I managed to run and walk for about 9 hours. And then I thought to myself, what could I do on my birthday? And well, I got injured then on Christmas, and so I didn't do any training at all for the next month, and I managed to run, and then it was turned into a walk, and then it was like a hobble in the end, but I managed to do 7.
But you did it anyway, right?
And you know why you did it? Because it's all about endurance. You can do anything. It's just about endurance. So you did it under like you said, under adversity, being that what had happened, and you had this adversity, and you decided you're going to do it. Because when we commit ourselves, we can do whatever we want to do. So under endurance, you were able to go. And I was amazed when I saw that. I said, wow, running and walking 9 hours.
Yeah, and it was from that adversity where I thought to myself, let's see what I can do without any training. And it really worked well, because I knew I could push myself far, because I was in that situation. I had to think straight, and I had to push myself far beyond what I pushed myself before. And it's amazing that deep down in you, there's this huge strength that's quite untapped with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And and I tapped into it. You know, I was later totally cleared, and it was a crazy situation. It'll go into my book, and
oh yeah, you're writing a book. Great.
You turned your adversity into an ultimate opportunity.
Absolutely, and that's what people have to do. And I didn't tell you before I come on air, but it looks like I've lost my job today, and I could think to myself, oh no, what am I going to do? I've mowed thousands, I've lost thousands of pounds or dollars, as you would say in the States.
Right.
But it's like, I'm like, hey, no, do you know what? My son is in good health. I'm in good health. Let's break down what's important here, and then the thing is, if you go into a situation where, say, for example, now I've just lost my job, if I go into the sort of thinking where I'm like, oh, I've lost my job, everything's terrible, it's hard to pull yourself out.
That's
of that.
right.
So
It is when you
That's
go
right.
into a pity party, and,
That's
and
right.
we've all been there. I've been at my low points too, and having 3 children to depend on me. So, and you go into this pity party sometimes, and we shouldn't allow ourselves to drown in a pity party, because what we have to realize is it's not the end of the world. There are so many possibilities. There is limitless opportunity. So perhaps this is how you can dig into your soul and pull out that strength that you had for that endurance before. And with that being said, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the great American journey of hope. We're going to put the map up and let you tell us a little bit about this great American journey.
Awesome.
We'll be right back.
Hey folks, it's Ken here. If you or someone you know around the world has a small business, organization, or foundation you'd like to share with the Aim to Purpose audience, showcase it here on our segment of the show called Small Business Monday. The opportunities for people around the world to browse, buy, and use your products and services are endless. We pre-screen all businesses, organizations, and foundations for legitimacy, but because this is a free community service brought to our audience, it's at no cost to you as well. You heard it right. It's absolutely free, and you don't have to pay 1 penny. How do you like that? You just come on down to the studio and tell the story of your business, organization, or foundation, and give it the praises and accolades you know it deserves. If you're in another part of the state or country, or if you're in another part of the world, you can easily call in or Skype in and do the same. So what are you waiting for? Contact the show's publicist, Shamika Brown, at www.divinebrownmedia.com. She can also be contacted at 1-818-533-8463. Or contact Louise Hicks at www.louisehicks.biz. She can also be contacted at 1-562-310-1495. Allow yourself to be seen by the global masses, and allow your business to shine and grow because of the global masses. It's Small Business Monday, courtesy of Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
Okay, we're back with our special guest today, Mark Llewhellin, all the way from Wales over in the UK, and I'm Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, along with my co-host Kenan Wesley Mason. And let's look at this, the great American journey of hope. We're gonna have a few pictures up here because we have about 7 or 8 minutes or so left in the program, and we want to talk about this journey. So, Ken, where's that? The picture.
Yeah, we have some photos here that you can go. Right now, we're looking at the great American journey of hope with the United States mapped out. You have the blue circle around a few states in the northwest.
Is that where your journey of hope began, Mark, where the blue circle is around here on the Great American? We have the map up of the United States, and in the blue, is that what is that significant about?
That's the route as well. You've got the 7 red stripes going across. That's my lucky number.
Yes.
Basically, after I come back from the States last time, I thought to myself, the Americans were so brilliant in helping me through it that I thought, you know what, I want to go back to America, and I want to see if I can create something great for the people of America. So even though I know it's my run, I want to, it's like a thank you to the American people, and just create something great for them. So even though it's my run and it's kind of about me, I want it to be, more than that, and it's something that other people can join in as well.
And we thank you for sharing that. And we have the number 7. That's the next image we have. And we know that you said 7 is your lucky number. And it says 7 times across America, 7 charities
in 7
years. Running, cycling, and walking to create a better world. And that's why we have Aim to Purpose, the radio show, because our goal is to create a better world. And having guests globally, like you coming on from Wales, what better way than to create a better world and to get fit as well? So 777, look at all those 7s up there. 7 times across America and 7 charities in 7 years. That is awesome. And we have some other images too. Did you want to make a comment about the 7, Mark? I know you said 7 was your lucky number. You will have a brief comment because we do have to wrap it up in about 4 minutes or so.
Yes, 7 is just I'll stick it on the website at some stage, but it's a number that revolves around my life a lot, to do with my birthday, to do with numerology and all that sort of stuff, which I've never been into, but all these coincidences started to happen with me, and I thought, my God, there's the number 7, the number 7, the number 7.
Right.
And hopefully that can be a lucky number for the people of the United States as well.
It is, because guess what? We launched Aim to Purpose on July 7th, 2014. Oh. So 7, and then 14, that's 2 7s together.
Right.
So just think, 7 is awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're excited about it.
When I seen a little other sort of so-called sort of coincidence, and I thought, this guy's doing a lot of great work for charity, and I noticed that he's mentioned that he wanted 7 children, and he was in a film called 7. He was in a film called 7 Years in Tibet. He was the voiceover for Sinbad, Legend of the 7 Seas.
7 Seas, exactly.
Oh yeah. 7 has some
names,
significance
William
to it.
Bradley. Are 7 letters long, and he was born on the 18th, sort of one take away the 8th.
And it has that significance. And we have the other image, one man and his jog, showing you jogging, and pull up the other. We're just going to go through the images quickly that we have. And we have here, Mark joins the Jubilee baton charge with the dog here, your dog with you. And all of these images, I'm sure would in a few minutes you can share your website and they can see some of these or get in touch with you. Mark shatters the treadmill record. We talked about that earlier. And I think we have one more. Is that the last image we have?
I think there is one more, and we got it right here.
Okay.
Oh, that's
no,
the same one. So yeah.
Yeah, we've gone through all of them now. We want to briefly talk about the Superhero Day. That's something that you have over in the UK, right? And you're also creating one for America. So what is that about? Just briefly, because we have a little time left. Tell us about the Hero Day that you're sharing with Americans. I believe you have a website for that, right?
Yeah, that's superherodayusa.com. And it's currently being sort of it's been a work in progress at the moment, but that basically started when there was cuts to the hospital services in the UK, and obviously Christian Bale is born 5 days after me, and I thought, you know what, superhero, we could do something special on his birthday. So I created a Superhero Day on Christian's birthday, and it basically raised quite a lot of money for the children's ward in the hospital. They got iPads and so forth, and I thought, you know, this just works because it was the local college, the nurseries, the sort of kindergarten, I guess you call it over there. They were all raising money on that birthday, and because it worked so efficiently, you know, I thought, let's take this into the universities and the schools. And so yeah, I'm doing it with on Catherine Zeta-Jones's birthday, Anthony Hopkins, and obviously people who have been in superhero movies or hero movies in the States. So it's on its way to the States.
To the States. Well. And what's that website for the States now? Tell us it one more time. The website.
Superherousa.com.
Yeah, that's superhero. Dayusa.com, and the other one is great AmericanJourneyOfHope.com.
Great. So, Mark, we are about to wrap up our show here, but we want you to have some final thoughts, and we really appreciate you coming in to share with us today. We've had an awesome conversation, and with you sharing with us the great American journey of hope. And that's something that we all need. And just give us some final thoughts, and we're going to wrap up the show.
I would just say to people listening, follow your heart, follow your dreams. Life will knock you down to your knees, but you're going to get back up and just follow your dreams. Basically, be relentless and risk death, risk determination. Risk criticism. Just go for it. Go for it. Go for your dreams.
It's all a part of the challenge that the great Creator and universe is putting in front of you to challenge to see how powerful you can become, because like you said, there's a power within us that's just yearning to come out, to be explored.
Like Louise says, like your mum says, your power lies within you, and that is so.
Let it loose, and I'm going to be saying that in just a second here.
Yeah, you took the words right out of her mouth, huh?
Right out of my mouth. You can say it again, though. Your power.
Your power lies within you.
Yeah.
Let it loose.
Yes.
And Mark, we really appreciate you Skyping in today with us on Aim to Purpose, the radio show. And we hope to have you back. Will you come back and with us and share some more as you continue on your journey of the great American journey of hope? We'd love to have you back, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to Skype in from Wales all the way from the UK to the United States here at the Global Voice Broadcasting Network in Hollywood, California. And
the next time you come on, let's talk some personal trainer nutrition talk.
Sure.
And because information is direly needed, not only here in the States or in Europe, but across the globe. So we can definitely get into that conversation as well. So I want to thank you for that as well.
And we will have you back then and get into that. And,
absolutely. And
we will talk with you about coming back for that. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks very much, Louise. Thanks, Kenan.
Absolutely. And with that being said, to end the show and to repeat one more time,
as I always say, enjoy your week and have a great weekend. And until next time, your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Until next time.